Well, it is the UEFA Champions League, the League of Champions. The boys have been separated from the men. We are now into the round of 16 of that competition. At this stage, it's either you go hard or you go out. Welcome to another edition of Sports Hangouts, where we'll give the latest coming from the ever-busy world of sport. I want to talk about the biggest interclub competition in the world. That's talking about the UEFA Champions League. The draw for the round of 16 have just been confirmed, and we have some tantalizing fixtures, interesting fixtures for the round of 16, the UEFA Champions League this season. Let me run through the fixtures right now. PSG, well, up against Chelsea, the world champions. Remember that both teams met in the final of the FIFA Club World Cup in the summer, so they are meeting again in the round of 16 of the Champions League. So PSG will take on Chelsea, Galatasaray up against Liverpool, Real Madrid will take on Manchester City, Atalanta will take on Bayern Munich, Newcastle United up against Barcelona, Atletico Madrid will take on Spurs, Bodo Glimt to take on Sporting CP, that's JJ Newar's Bodo Glimt, up against Sporting CP, Bayer Leverkusen will take on Arsenal. JJ, I mean, interesting fixtures in the Champions
Interesting, really interesting.
Yeah, let's start with the biggest. PSG up against Chelsea. Now, both teams met in the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. That Chelsea shockingly defeated PSG. Comprehensive victory for Chelsea in that game.
Exactly, 3-0.
But this is not a one-off game. It's over 2 legs. PSG up against Chelsea, Luis Enrique up against Liam Rossini. Promises to be interesting. How do you think this will pan out? It's over 2 legs, so it's not as if it's a one-off game. If PSG get to win the first leg, they are still going to stand for before the second leg. So PSG, Chelsea, what are your expectations in this game?
Well, I think league standing and positions can be misleading sometimes. That's what you have with these two teams. It does seem like PSG before this time out, PSG had to qualify for the last 16 through
the
playoffs, and Chelsea qualified automatically. So if you look at that, you might want to be tempted to think that Chelsea are going to be are going to have it easy against PSG. But do not forget that last season PSG were, they were in this same situation. They had to qualify through the playoffs, and they eventually went out to be the champions. They defeated the champions of champions last season towards winning the competition. So if you look at their head-to-head, it's quite a bit of a game, a contest of they've had in time past. Chelsea have beaten PSG just twice, while PSG have hedged it out 3 times, and there have been 3 draws. So if you look at that, it's so close scores. But yes, this season Chelsea have been on a. But then the thing is that the form. If you look at Premier League,
is different from the league.
The form in the league is usually different from what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
This season, Chelsea have beaten Barcelona already.
Yes,
and Barcelona are the league leaders in Spain. And Chelsea are not even. They've never even tasted third, not even mentioned second or something like that. So it's a bit of. I really think Chelsea right now they are still. A force to reckon with.
So you think that Chelsea is the favourite going to this game against the champions PSG?
There's no clear favourite, to be honest.
Okay.
Between the two of them, there's no clear favourite. Either of them could hedge it out. Yeah. But if you look at PSG being the current champion, they may want to give it to them. But I don't think I can write off Chelsea. Chelsea can, they can pull off the super. They're a team that score goals.
Yeah.
Chelsea score goals, but then they have something with conceding as well, and their disciplinary record. But I don't think that affects really much in the Champions League. Champions League, there are 2 different things, but it helps teams when they are on form in the league to play in the Champions League as well. So, but PSG and Chelsea, it's going to be a really close.
To be a cracker of a game.
It's going to be a cracker of a game.
Over 2 legs.
Now, because Luis Enrique, he really wanted it.
Yeah, he said it before the draw.
He wanted to rectify what to show whether that was just a blip or Chelsea really deserved it. And if Chelsea does beat them again this time around,
to show that maybe Chelsea did not to beat PSG.
And that was no one-off. And I really think it's going to be a hard one to predict.
Just to buttress your points, because we cannot underrate Chelsea. Interesting. The first time Chelsea won the Champions League was in 2012.
Exactly.
That was under Roberto Di Matteo, a manager who was not really a popular manager, but he got Chelsea the Champions League trophy. Interestingly, Chelsea were outside the top 4 when they won the Champions League. In fact, their form in the league was so bad that they didn't qualify for the next Champions League through the league. They had to
qualify
because
through the
because they won the Champions. So
exactly.
You can't underrate Chelsea. I mean, they know how to play cup competitions like this. That's the reason why they won the Club World Cup.
They know how to. They know how.
An FA Cup, but the league is a problem
It's
for Chelsea because
problem.
the league requires a bit of consistency and
that's what
like
they don't have. They don't have that.
But in Champions League, over 2 legs, they can do the job. They know how to do the job.
They can. They have mastered the dark arts game, and so they can, they can always, those times where Chelsea will have like 10 players back, one up front hand, just to you wake up anyhow. Okay. You don't have to be beautiful, you don't have to be attractive in your style. All you need is to get the job done.
Yeah.
And I think Chelsea, they can get the job done, except of course if they are meeting an English team. That may be difficult.
All right, I'm thinking we'll come back to you regarding the prediction, but let's move to the other games. Real Madrid up against Manchester City. Now, this looks like a setup because for the past 5-6 years, Manchester
City... It's been
City,
like either...
last season, they both met in the playoff, and Manchester City lost to Real Madrid. Exactly. And so I think the previous season it was Manchester City that defeated Real Madrid, so it has always been Real Madrid, Manchester City. So more like a setup. And then it's a big matchup in the Champions League round of 16. It promises to be interesting. The first leg will be at the Santiago Bernabeu. Real Madrid, the most successful team in the history of the UEFA Champions League, up against Manchester City, who won it once. They won it in 2023, beating Inter Milan in the final. But this is Pep Guardiola. He has the experience in the Champions League, facing Real Madrid. The first leg will be at the Santiago Bernabeu. Both teams are close in terms of quality because they both have the quality to edge this one. But do you think that Manchester City will be able to rectify the mistake they made last season against Real Madrid this time around in the Champions League?
Yes, I'm convinced that they will. I'm convinced they will. I'm convinced Manchester City are going to see this game out because I've never been convinced about Real Madrid this season.
But Real Madrid, they don't need to be convincing to win games in the Champions League. Sometimes,
I
mean that's the stuff of the
champion. They've been so poor.
Yeah, they've been very poor.
They've been so poor. So
imagine they lost to Benfica.
You lost to Benfica, and you had to.
I think that's the reason why they are playing against Man City. Because if they have qualified automatically, they would have avoided Manchester City.
They were just lucky against Benfica. Of course, they won 3-1 aggregate. Yeah. But then you shouldn't be even playing Benfica in the first place in the knockout stage, in the playoffs. But I see Man City, I see them, they rely mostly on individual brilliance.
Yes, I agree with you.
And not every team will offer you that chance.
Definitely.
Not every team is going to let you be individualistic in your
approach. And they have a good goalkeeper.
Football is not played by individual. You're just sometimes
you have to play
lucky.
Like a team.
You have to be a team. At Manchester City, if you're talking about a team that's a team, you would give it to Man City the way the setup is, and it might not be easy over 2 legs, of course, but I don't see Real Madrid picking up anything from them.
Real Madrid, the most successful team in the Champions League.
When they are playing,
they have the experience.
Come on,
but maybe their manager is not a big manager.
He's not.
He's a rookie kind of. But again,
when you are looking at Madrid and Champions League, it always does seem like they have a correspondence, but then sometimes it's not every season they get to the final. It's not every season they get to the semi-final. Sometimes they have to go through the transition.
I mean, they lost to Arsenal both when they last season.
This season I see them moving past the round because the way how do they?
So you think that this is the end of the road for Real Madrid?
They would have known themselves, but then you see sometimes in the Champions League and sometimes Madrid, they can. When you think they are not good, when you think their consistency is poor, that's when they just have a way with the Champions League. They have a way to shock. And if you look at the past 3-4 seasons, they've not been good too, but they've just found a way
of winning it.
So if I think that can also help because certainly they have players who have won the Champions League at least multiple times, so they know how to navigate their way through the knockout stages of the competition. If Man City, if they have belief in themselves, I think they can do it over them.
All right, let's go to that fixtures right now. Let's talk about the surprise package of the season in the Champions League. Bodo Glimt up against Sporting CP. Now, I mean, I don't know why we are talking about Bodo Glimt, but they've been the surprise package this season in the Champions League, beating Manchester City. They've beaten Atletico Madrid. They've also beaten Inter Milan. Surprise package. They are through to the round of 16 of the Champions League. Up against Sporting CP. I mean, this game, well, I think that the favourite is going to this game because of what they've been able to do. But against Sporting CP, you can't underrate Sporting CP. I think in terms of quality, they are both at par. But look at what Bodo Glimt have been able to do this season. I think well, people will fancy them to qualify for the quarterfinal.
It even says a lot about Bodo Glimt that you are having to say teams, especially Sporting, you can't underrate Sporting against Sporting Bodo Glimt.
Yeah.
We should be saying you can't underrate
Bodo Glimt,
against
they are
Sporting.
giant killers.
They're giant. They are killing giants. Killing them for fun.
Yeah.
You know, Man City 3-1. Man City. Atletico Madrid went to Atletico Madrid, beat Atletico Madrid at home, and then against Inter, home and away, beat Inter Milan 5 goals.
Wow.
To 2. 5 goals to 2 aggregates. That's not a fluke. You want to test that. So Sporting is, but then I think Bordeaux right now they can't get too complacent and then they can't, it's not the time for them to think yes we are now one of the big boys. No, it's the time and honestly their story has been impressive.
Yeah,
they've gone through the ranks from UEFA Conference League to Europa League and then the Champions League. And so when I look at the set of players they have, they've been together for a couple of years. Yeah. And in fact, 9 out of their starting 11, 9 out of them are from Norway. They are Norwegians who have been together. So it's not like they have the superstars of Real Madrid or of Barcelona. But then they have this synergy. Yeah. So you know, when you watch their game, it does seem like if a player, they know where they are right on the pitch, and so the second goal against Inter Milan, for instance, that so much typifies the type of team that Bordeaux. A team where the entire region is just about 50,000, 55,000 people population. You understand how it means for them to be in this. They have a structure, they have a team, separate tactics, and they are organized. They are really organized. 3-1 against Man City at home, 3-1 against Inter Milan at home. You can't call that coincidence. Yeah, definitely. It seems this team is well trained. That manager on touchline, when you see him, he's such a calm, composed figure. He knows what is put on the field. And the players, when they concede, look, when they conceded against Inter Milan first leg, they never panicked. When they conceded against Man City, they never panicked. When they conceded against Atletico, they went ahead on these 3 occasions to win the game. So you're talking about, and they didn't start well. They didn't start.
But they had to win their last.
In fact, they had to win almost like their last 3 games to qualify
to get into the playoffs.
And since then, and you know, I was talking about PSG the other time. PSG last season, they didn't qualify on merit. They had to play playoffs to get to the knockout stages. So this team too, it's like they are. But to say they're going on to win the Champions League, but against Sporting are a brilliant team themselves.
Yes.
5 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses to qualify. In fact, they finished 7th, and to finish above Real Madrid, Man City, teams like that, shows that you did something well. Yeah. And to be here, like you said, we can't.
I mean, despite losing Ruben Amorim and Victor Gyökeres,
they still continue that form, and they're brilliant team too. But like you said, Bodo Glimt are my team, and so
I know
I can be quite partial. I really want them to go far in this competition.
Okay.
But sometimes what you wish doesn't match reality.
All right. Newcastle United up against Barcelona. Now, for Newcastle United, they met Barcelona earlier in the season. In the group phase, and they lost that game. Barcelona won. I remember Marcus Rashford was the star.
He was the weapon fashioned against them that day.
But this is a different ball game because
it's knockout.
This is knockout, round of 16. It's over 2 legs. The first leg will be at the St. James's Park, and of course the second leg will be in Spain. Do you think that Newcastle United can spring a surprise because they are going to this game as the underdogs, definitely against Barcelona?
Well, you look at Barcelona's high line, the way they play, the way they set up defenders. I think recently teams are now trying to exploit that. Yeah. And that's why you see their form this season, recently too, has been dipping a bit. And if Newcastle, and incidentally, Newcastle have just found their form too. And it's come at the right time. Games, and I think they are getting players back. But they lost narrowly to Manchester City. They are getting players back from injury. So it could really work in their favor. Especially, all they need to do right now is to hold their home fortress. They should get something.
They managed to win that.
If they manage to win the first leg, Barcelona, Sports 5 Stadium isn't somewhere. isn't a nice place to go.
But now they've lost at home this season.
It can be crumbling. So, but but it's knockout. So it's knockout, and we're talking about Barcelona. It's still Barcelona, regardless whether they don't have Messi, Iniesta again. It's still Barcelona. They still have that name. And Newcastle United against Barcelona. That's going to be a team that Newcastle, they're a well-grounded team themselves. And so they are very fast, quick forward. And
they have a tall striker for that Monday. That guy is tall.
It can really work against, they can use that to exploit Barcelona's eye line. And if they are set up, drilled well, they can upset Barcelona. The Barcelona themselves won't want to bar her that way. So I think it's going to be.
I mean, last time
really
they won the Champions League was 2015.
That
was Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi.
Exactly.
And
it's been a long time, almost 11 years now, more than 10 years. So they want to do it again.
To win it again. Okay. Let's talk about Liverpool up against Galatasaray. Now, for Victor Osimhen, it was fantastic for them.
It was against Juventus.
But they're facing Liverpool over 2 legs, and the first leg will be in Istanbul, Turkey. The first leg, and the second leg will be at Anfield. Of course, Liverpool, they are the favourites, definitely clear favourites for this one. But against Galatasaray, I mean, it promises to be very tough. It promises to be interesting. For Galatasaray, they're not doing badly as well. They're not doing badly as well in the Turkish league, but they're playing against Liverpool right now. JJ, let's talk about this one. Liverpool playing away to Galatasaray. The first leg will be in Turkey. Do you think that Galatasaray can upset Liverpool? Because they need to upset Liverpool to qualify.
No. I don't think so, because they
over 2 legs against Liverpool.
They were really disappointing against Juventus. They
almost lost that game.
Juventus with a man down scored 3 goals with a man down, scored 3 goals to force the game to extra time where they hedged it out eventually. They were really disappointing, and they've been disappointing this season. Galatasaray with the players they have. They managed to win just 3 games through the group stage. They drew, I think, 1 or 2, and then they lost 4. They drew 1, and then they lost 4. That's bad of a team like that. And they had to, of course, they qualified through the playoffs. And I think that this might just be the end of the road for them. Liverpool are a very difficult team to play, whether in the league or in the Champions League.
And they seem to have picked their form right now. Even the Premier League, they are getting.
Even when they were poor in the Premier League, they were still very good in the Champions League.
I think they defeated Real Madrid.
They did. Yeah, they did. So I don't see them doing anything, honestly. I don't see them getting over Liverpool. Liverpool have just earned themselves. Of course, it's not always rocket science.
Yeah,
there can be upsets. In fact, this Champions League format have really been impressive.
Okay.
I had my doubts about it before, but now I think I'm impressed. It gives even lesser teams the chance to really pull something off. So it's interesting.
We're going to get into the predictions in a bit, but let's talk about the other 2 fixtures remaining. Bayer Leverkusen up against Arsenal. Arsenal, the only team in this Champions League with 100% record. Unbeaten, they've won all their games. 6 out of 6. But see, all those ones, they don't count because this is the round of 16.
You are out.
You're out if you don't do very well.
It's not,
the first leg will be in Germany at the Bay Arena.
It doesn't pity you. Knockout stages.
Bayer Leverkusen up against Arsenal Football Club. Well, Arsenal they have a checkered history playing against German opposition in the Champions League, but against Bayer Leverkusen, definitely they are the favourites going to this game.
Because they've been Bayern Munich this season, so it's not going. Arsenal, they look like a team that they are in for it this season. They are locked up, they are focused. They want to win almost everything, and it doesn't show like they are fatigued. They are, of course, mentally.
No, they have a big squad.
They have a big squad, and Bayern Leverkusen shouldn't be stopping them. They shouldn't be stopping them.
But they can't afford to be complacent. Bayer Leverkusen, they are not doing badly in the German Bundesliga. They are not bad.
The reality is they shouldn't be stopping Arsenal.
Okay.
Otherwise, like you said, their 100% record will just go down the drain.
Yeah.
Fans won't remember that.
They won't.
They will remember only the loss against Leverkusen. And yes, we shouldn't be talking that much about Arsenal and Leverkusen. Everyone expects Arsenal to win.
But should we be talking about Atalanta against Bayern Munich? Now, Bayern Munich have been fantastic this season as well. They finished second in the Champions League phase behind Arsenal Football Club. The first leg will be in Italy against Atalanta. Now Bayern Munich, they are the favourite. But again, this is the Champions League, where sometimes you get a shock, you get a surprise. I mean, that's what makes the Champions League very interesting, just like we said the other time. But they are playing against Atalanta. I mean, Bayern Munich the favourites in this game. But any chance for Atalanta?
Well, last time I wrote Atalanta off, and I was humiliated to say. And
I mean, that was a fantastic comeback against
Borussia
Dortmund.
Dortmund were leading 2-0.
I mean, it could have been all German affair right now.
It could have been all German, and then they went to Atalanta and
they slipped.
Just 4-1, and that was incredible.
That was scandalous.
But you see, when we can't. I don't know whether teams like that just try to come up or turn up against in one moment, but if they can put up the performance they did against, by the way, Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich right now, they're not on the same level.
Yeah.
So, but football is so dynamic.
It is.
Football. It's unpredictable.
You can't.
But sometimes you can almost predict it, and that's what I think it is with Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich they've got too much quality for Atalanta to handle.
All right. So you want to do something right now. You will tell me your quarter-finalists. I mean, PSG,
Yes.
Chelsea.
There's Atletico Madrid, Tottenham.
Okay. Sorry. Atletico Madrid, Tottenham. I mean, let's talk about that one. Tottenham have been surprise package as well.
Diego Simeone is not losing.
He's not losing
that one. It's not losing that one. Tottenham themselves are in a disarray, but they've got a new manager. And I don't think sometimes when you have a new manager, the reason many people think new managers have new manager bounce is this: you're looking at someone whose tactics is relatively unknown to you.
Yeah.
So and they have known you. They know your strength and weakness.
So
it takes time, and that's why they think the manager bounce, new manager bounce. And against someone like Diego Simeone, who's been at that club for 15 years and counting, and so he's with the experience he's had in the Champions League and knockout too is pretty impressive. I don't think, but Tottenham they finished fourth.
That's impressive.
Fourth. So it's really going to be huge, honestly. It's going to be huge.
Okay. Unfortunately, there is no Manchester United here, so let's move forward.
Why do you have to bring Manchester United?
Saying,
Why do you have to? We all know that even UEFA Conference League, Man United didn't qualify. Why bring Man United in?
They are not in
no, come on. Why bring Man United if not that you know what you are? You see, it was an intentional banter. I know.
Let's talk about those that will progress to the quarterfinals. PSG, Chelsea, just pick one.
Chelsea.
Galatasaray,
Liverpool.
Real Madrid, Man City.
Man City.
Atalanta, Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich.
Newcastle United, Barcelona.
I really like Newcastle, and I want them to qualify with Barcelona.
Atletico Madrid, Spurs.
Atletico Madrid.
Bodo Glimt, Sporting CP.
Of course. Bodo.
And of course, Bayer Leverkusen, Arsenal.
Arsenal all the way.
All right, let's get to your reactions because JJ has picked his quarterfinalists already.
Yeah.
Do you?
I can almost see the finalist.
Okay, do let us get to
Bodo Glimt and Arsenal. And I see them winning the Champions League.
Okay.
Bodo Glimt.
Okay, that would be the biggest thing if that happens. But let's get your reactions.
That day, Arteta will get sacked. if he does lose to Bodo Glimt, you will sack him from here.
Okay, let's get your reactions. Let's get your predictions.
21 years.
I mean, do you agree with JJ with some of his postulation? Well, of course, we'll be happy to hear from you. Until next time that we are going to meet, I remain Toby.
And I'm JJ. Please, as always, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more content from us. And please always engage. Thank you. Bye.